why these books are getting so popular, these translations, and why publishers are also interested, why readers are interested.
So my first book is this one. What You Are Looking For is in the Library by Michiko. Actually, I have read all the parts, the 5 parts of this, Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. It just gives you an idea of if people could change their lives, how would they do that? If they could just, like say something to a person again, if that's the last meeting, what would they say? So yes, I cried in these books.
There are 3 books out now. Strange Pictures, I think that came out earlier, the first one. Strange Houses, and now Strange Buildings is also coming up. So very interesting. I loved it because of the crazy sort of narrative. Have you noticed that there's a sameness in creeping into some narratives while you're reading multiple books?
Yeah, like we have already seen books are coming up with about the bookshops and libraries.
Yeah.
That is there.
Yeah.
Like if one book goes well about the bookshop, then there are multiple like this. And
now there will be a line.
Yeah, exactly. I have a TBR of these Korean literatures. So they are about bookshelves and bookshop, book cafe, and all of that.
Hello guys, welcome to the Booknerds podcast. This is season 3 and we are shooting at the wonderful Kunzum books in GK 2 in Delhi. And in this podcast, we are going to discuss some wonderful books which I'm sure you all are loving as well. These are the Japanese and Korean translations which at least on our team in Booknerds, we called as comfort reads. Yeah. I don't know if popular culture also treats them that way. But these are the books that everybody is loving and we are also loving as a team. And so we thought we had some spare time and let's call it that. And we wanted to discuss these books and sort of reflect on why do we love them and which books we have been loving currently, especially since I think it's a 1.5 year sort of time frame where these books have become really popular. So Mahak is with me here and it's her first podcast shoot. So be very kind as the audience in YouTube comments. So she has agreed to do this along with me and it's going to be a very casual conversation talking about these books and our reflections, our impressions, and why are we so obsessed with this genre, which has become a genre now. Yeah. So, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so
Mahak, much. Your first in the Booknerds podcast.
Yeah.
And, what have you been reading in this genre, which is a genre now, and everybody's loving it. So, what are the books? And let's first kind of put some perspective to it, right?
Yeah, okay.
That why is this getting so popular? Why these books are getting so popular? These translations and why publishers are also interested, why readers are interested. The entire ecosystem is kind of, totally infatuated.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I think like even for me personally, it's more about the comfort read. It's like if I read normal English literature, like from English authors or even Indian authors, it's like too, known for me.
Okay.
But when we read about Japanese or Korean or in fact any other translated literature, it feels more like a new space, an escape kind of. Like I read for escape basically. I don't read for academics or anything. So when I read all these books, the one we are talking about, I felt like, oh, this is something that I would like to experience. It's like something I can daydream about. And I think most of us, whoever is reading these things, we are infatuated by these. We are suddenly there is this trend of Korean food and Japanese food, movies, series, and even I'm all in that. I watch Japanese, I eat Japanese sometimes, and all of that. So I think this is the escape we all want from the reality, where we are working and then we just want something like kuch different chahiye, so we go with that.
And it's you're so right that K-pop culture, everybody knows that it has taken over. And in fact, when you look at it, I think even Japanese are falling behind when it comes to popular culture. Korean, my daughters are obsessed with it completely. They talk about these things from morning till night.
Exactly.
From morning till night. That's the only thing they talk about. Barring, I mean, even academics don't interest them now because you can't compete with
True.
the best bands out there like Twice and all those Blackpink,
BTS.
BTS, Blackpink. BTS is making a comeback, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's the latest. They're not coming to India, but yeah, all those things are getting so popular. I think it's a combined sort of effect
Yes.
of books, popular culture, music. They what else? Food.
Food.
Food has become such a craze. Last time I was here in Horse and I could. There's this place. I forget the name, but very popular place, a Korean place in Horse and you couldn't even find a place there to
Yeah.
sit. I was just standing there for half an hour and then I left. There are several good, places here in GK itself
GK, yes.
and across India, at least in metros, and they are creeping into
The
cities
small,
like
yeah.
Tier 2
Yeah.
and all of that. We have some in Dehradun as well. So yeah, all those things are there, and if we want to just consume, and it's like we discussed, comfort eating,
Come fun,
comfort
yeah.
reads, and all those things. On Blinkit, you go and see ramen
Yes.
everywhere, bulldog, and all those things. So that I think it's an ecosystem, and it's a very conscious effort on the part of these countries to kind of promote their culture.
Very true.
It's not just about it's not random.
Yeah.
I feel, and that's a good thing. I think we should learn from that and kind of implement it.
Yeah, even I agree with that. Like, I don't think Indians are doing that much as compared to Korean, especially. And I think the hype increased with Squid Game.
Yes, yes,
Everyone
absolutely.
was like
That was
mad about
the
it.
kind
The
of flex.
connection, yeah.
Yeah, inflection point
Huh.
was that that when it launched and kind of it took it to a different level.
People who didn't
Yeah.
even know about it started watching more Korean and
Yeah.
then to
Yeah.
Japanese. So I
K
think
dramas
yeah.
were happening, but it was in a very 1% kind of thing.
Yes.
Matlab, top 1% maybe, or the 1%ers who were watching it. But now all of a sudden, because it has creeped into music and all
Yes.
of those things, it is on YouTube every time you switch on
Yeah.
YouTube. So the kids are kind of taking it to their homes, and it's a pandemic in a good way, a
In a
pandemic
good
in a
way,
good way.
yeah.
Okay, let's come to the books. Which are the books that you have? Let's talk about the ones you have loved,
Yeah. Okay.
right? And then I think that would be a better way to do it. And the ones which maybe were okay, and
Okay. Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
the ones which were like you didn't like at all.
Okay.
And I'll also pitch in, of course. I have some preferences. I've been reading in the same genre, so that's good for the podcast. So yeah,
Okay,
what's the
so
first one?
so my first book is this one. What You Are Looking For is in the Library by Michiko. And I think the Japanese people love cats. So it
Okay.
is just like there.
The Indians also
almost.
do. Indians also do. We are half dog and half sort
Half,
of cat people.
yeah.
And yeah.
So I think this book is like, maybe I picked it up at the right time of my life, which happens very mostly, I guess. But in this book, there is this librarian who helps people, whoever come there,
Right.
who helps people, and she just suggests book in a way that it helps them in their real life as well.
Yep.
So it's like, even I felt like I wish I had someone like that who can just guide me indirectly also. So and the thing is, there are 5 stories in it. There is an artist, there is an editor,
Okay.
and people who are into books, people who want to change job, or people who are retired.
Okay.
So when after retirement you are like, ab kya karu main? So even there, that
Oh,
is
nice.
yeah. So she's just helping without even doing anything. She's just recommending them books,
Okay.
and they are just finding life lessons in that. So it's like, it's so subtle, but it's so deep as well.
That's a gray space actually. When you are when you have retired, not many people think about
Exactly.
it because most people have motivation. When we are growing up and kind of when we are young,
Yeah.
we have motivation. But after one is retired, which I mean happens in our culture at least, like at a certain age. In other cultures, people don't even retire sometimes. So that happens. But yeah, that's a great gray area which they have kind of
Exactly.
addressed.
Yeah. Even like if I see my elders and I see what do they do every day? I have something to do at least. Maybe it's
Right.
like working or just going
Why
out.
do you get up?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
something
They don't
very.
have anything to do. How much can you watch the TV? How much can you use your phone? So it's like, but even this, it just shows that your life doesn't end after
Do you
retirement.
remember something? What kind of books they were recommending in this? And yeah.
It was like based on the thing they were working on.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
if
Maybe.
the retirement, he decided to start playing a game. So just like a group kind of activity.
Yeah.
So he went to buy books for that,
Okay.
and then she recommended basis on that.
Oh.
So
So stick to your interests and
yeah.
kind of pursue them. Keep pursuing them.
So
That's
that was
amazing.
there.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I think everyone should read this. Maybe they find their life lesson in this one.
Yeah.
And yeah, I keep on recommending this one. This was like my favorite book of 2025, and I think I'll go back to it whenever I need to.
Sounds wonderful. Uh, I think a lot of people like argue that these books are very impractical. The highly pragmatic people, they think that why the heck should we indulge?
Yeah.
Like especially I hang out a lot on LinkedIn, and people sometimes have posted about it there, but it doesn't gain that much traction
Yeah.
as much as it does on Instagram or something. So what about that? Like why should someone, like I enjoyed it, but people stay away from them. Why is that? Why do you think?
I think it depends from person to person, like whatever floats their boat kind of a
Okay.
thing. Because if you are a person who is into non-fiction, then you won't like these things. You'll be like,
Right.
why? Like, I don't want to know what they're doing in the library. But for me, if I read, like, I mostly read for escape. I don't indulge into non-fiction
Okay.
if it's not for work and all. But I would prefer these books only because it's like,
You can say it when you are forced by Booknerds. It's fine.
yes. Booknerds mostly have non-fiction, so I
Non-fiction.
have to work
Yes,
for
yes,
that.
yes. But even I read for pleasure because many times, there's so many non-fiction books out there coming out. People are writing so much of
Yeah.
memoirs and self-help and all of that. So it has to be there in your bookshelf, TBR. It has to be
Yes.
there.
I think yes, even I have read it for my own thing when I was like growing up a teenager, like what do I want to do in my life? I used to read those books because at that time I had those books only. Now when I know that okay, I am fine, I am doing fine in my life, I need an escape, I come to these books because it's like reading about or knowing about someone else, that there are people out there who are living the life the way maybe we want to or the way we are going through life. And it's like it's not too much to handle. When you are reading a non-fiction, especially like a memoir or something, it's too much to handle sometimes.
It is.
That like it's getting too deep and I don't want to be sad.
Yeah. Even I have noticed that whenever I need to kind of, get away from the work or something, I always go to such kind of reads. And it could be a thriller, it could be a crime
Yes,
also,
exactly.
but it should be fun in some way. This is like a weird sort of fun because you're kind of, it takes you to another world and you are kind of sometimes even manifesting that I could be owning a bookstore
Exactly.
in some corner of Japan or in Europe or somewhere. Everybody manifests that. They have it in their head. Maybe they own a cafe or
Cafe and
something, a
bookstore,
book
yeah.
cafe, something like that. Everybody I know who loves books wants to own a bookstore or a book cafe.
Yes,
So that is also an audience where kind of these books fit in very well. That I want to someday I'll do it, and they never do it, but someday
But
at
it's
least,
like it's something for them that they wake up for.
yes, they wake up for that. Okay, what's next?
Next,
That you loved. Let's go to that first.
okay. So actually, I have read all the parts, the 5 parts of this Before the Coffee Gets Cold.
Okay.
By Toshikazu Kawaguchi. And this book, it's like magic
Another
realism.
bestseller.
Yes.
Major bestseller.
Yeah, this one got the most famous in India and then Japanese literature came in.
Yes.
So in this book, it's like there is this cafe and there is a ghost, and the cafe thing is that it allows people to go in the past or in the future. So it's like a magic realism. It's like something you wish you could do.
Yeah.
Will you do it, or
Yeah.
you want to see the future?
Time travel.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't read such books mostly about the time travel or ghost and stuff like that, but this was a cozy read because it just gives you an idea of if people could change their lives, how would they do that? If they could just, like say something to a person again, if that's the last meeting, what would they say? So yes, I cried in these books. So yeah, and there is this very
I would
stories.
usually probably say the same thing. Even I went back, I would say, I think I would be worse if I got time. If I got time to go back and kind of rethink my answer, it would be even worse. I would make it a point that I reinforce my point.
Oh God.
It's so interesting.
I don't think so.
I think like that.
Yeah, you think like that. I'm an introvert.
I would definitely put it, because I'm also an introvert, although I have started doing
Yeah.
podcasting and all, but at the core, you sometimes fail to express yourself.
Yes.
But that's a great book to kind of, explore that. And I think also, or to our previous point, that, non-fiction and fiction wala, I think non-fiction aficionados, they don't realize that fiction has got better learnings. It's all about people skills now.
Yes.
Everybody has knowledge, right?
Yes.
With AI and
Yeah.
everything, everybody has knowledge. I think it comes down to people skills.
True.
And their fiction is just amazing.
And in fact, for emotional maturity.
Emotional maturity.
Yes.
Why do things go wrong at work?
Yeah.
They go wrong because people act weirdly. Your manager is not an empathetic person.
Yes.
Your teammate is kind of trying to hog your limelight. All those things. These are the common issues. There is someone who is doing a lot of, bootlegging too much in the company and getting promotions. All these are the common issues, right? There is someone harassing you.
Yes.
Vocally or whatever, with their words or maybe otherwise as well. All those things, I think fiction is the best place to go to solve all those problems.
Yeah.
You'll know better how to deal with people, converse with people. Non-fiction will give you concepts.
Yes, and I think the thing that you said that because of AI and all the knowledge, I don't want to read कि मैं 400 page की non-fiction पढूं. I don't want that. I can just Google it.
The non-fiction book then has to be very, practical then. If at all it is there, it exists.
Yeah.
Then if you can't implement it properly, it is just a bunch of, whimsical sort of ideas put together, then it won't work. It would be too impractical.
That depends on the reader.
It depends. I mean, but it's if you really make it simple and you blend it with a bit of storytelling, I think that's a good non-fiction.
Yes, that is nice. I think these books are doing that because they are giving you story and they are giving you life lessons kind of thing.
Yeah.
Also.
This is actually non-fiction.
Yeah.
if you put it that way, that you are getting learnings also. Because in a subtle manner. But, guess what? Nobody wants to, in a very, sort of, the pedagogy has to be very casual.
Yes.
Right? It can't be like, I'm telling you, don't go to the gym.
True, yeah.
And you will go. It won't happen. Right? So it has to be very subtle. So I think that's something these books are achieving.
Yes. And also one thing I want to mention, when you said that you would kind of reinforce your point, if you could go back, you can only go back once, or you can only go back, go in future once in your lifetime. So you have to be very careful for that.
That we have to be careful about. Great. What else? The most famous one we can go to now. We'll go to Morisaki wala. Haan. Yeah.
So okay.
These Mahak didn't like, and I appreciated a lot. I've read the first part though.
Yeah, I have read this both the parts. Days at the Morisaki Bookshop and More Days at the Morisaki Bookshop by Satoshi Yagisawa. I liked it, but not that much, or maybe as much as them.
Maybe these were better.
Yeah, these were better for me at least.
I haven't read those, so how would I know?
Yes, true.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I get a lot of hate for this,
No,
but
it's fine. It's fine.
you never know.
See, interpretations.
Haan.
It's all about interpretations. Like some people like Dhurandhar, some people just hate it. So, I love it, but I know why people could perhaps hate it. It's totally fine. There are two sides to everything.
Yes. So I think the reason I didn't like it is because the protagonist is a 28-year-old girl, a lady, but she didn't know how to live her life. I felt like you are
That is
grown up, please.
No, that is there. That is there. I can understand. I think she was uh, in a relationship.
Yeah.
I think she was quite underconfident, came across
Yes.
as underconfident.
He cheated and she
Yes.
couldn't do anything about it.
So she didn't do anything about it, which could be weird for most people. But there are some people who don't
I
have the
understand,
confidence
yeah. I
to
understand
fight
that.
the system or whatever. Fight. They were co-workers, na? So, it's a kind of, not everybody has the strength.
Yes, and
So-
that is why I tried to give her the benefit of doubt, and I was like, "Dekhte hain pad ke." But then it was so like she needed her uncle every time, and even the uncle fought the guy who
Yes,
cheated
yes.
on. So I was like, "No."
So if you
have to
haven't
take
read
it-
the book,
yeah,
Mahak has kind of given a lot away. So, but we can do that now. It's an old
Yeah.
sort of book now.
and they can read it afterwards.
They
maybe.
can read it. So that was something her uncle had to kind of,
Yeah, and
always
you know,
come
like
and
yes, like till when will your uncle fight for you?
Yes,
you
yes.
have to build that
Yes,
thing for yourself.
yes.
And
I think
yeah.
the best, scene or whatever, the part of the book was when this, confrontation happens. That was
Yes.
quite something.
Even I was like very sure. Please do it. Please do it. Please do something.
I was thinking like maybe it will not happen, and
Maybe he
but
gets
it did
there.
happen. You have to read the book to kind of understand what we're talking about. But the setting was quite interesting, like visually.
Yeah,
if you
visually,
visualize it, this part of Japan where these bookstores
Stores
are
are,
there, entire area, like somewhat like the place where you live in
Yes.
Delhi. So that is there, and there are cafes also there.
Yeah, yeah.
And sort of, so that entire world I am enamored with. So maybe I'm a bit biased. Yeah, okay, the setting is there. There is this protagonist who is in kind of nowhere in life right
Yeah.
now, struggling, because I have also been through that kind of phase. So maybe I could associate with that.
Yes. That could be the thing. I
That
have
could be.
also been in that state, but not
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that was the thing. Like, and I felt like you have to do something. You cannot go after your uncle, ki,
Yeah.
please help me, and all of that.
Yeah.
So that was like underconfident, and
Yeah.
she was not able to do it. So I felt bad, kind of.
Okay, so the next one,
Yeah.
which one are we picking? Okay.
So
yes.
this is, I'm reading it currently. It's like I want to die, but I still want to eat tteokbokki. The first part is I want to die, but I want to eat tteokbokki.
Yes.
So this is a book where the author just writes about her conversation with her therapist.
Yeah.
And I think one thing is very important for this book is that you have to pick it up when you are sad.
Absolutely.
You cannot just read this book when you are in a very happy time of your life, because you will be like, why is she crying? Like, I don't want to say something bad, but
Yes.
it's like, why is she crying about it? Why is she telling us about her therapist? Wala cheese. But yeah, I picked it up at a very sad time of my life, and I just needed something to help me
Yeah.
out of it. So, it's like sometimes I didn't associate with what her issues were, but other time it was like, yeah, this is the exact thing I wanted to read, and it helped me, and it just made me realize that firstly, there are people like that who are going through the same things. And secondly, that even though she is not, the therapist is not talking to me, but I do feel like I'm getting therapy.
Yeah.
So I think that was very much needed, and I have to still buy the second book. So once I finish the first one, I'll be reading the second one. And I think, yeah, everyone should read it, but only when they actually need it. It's
Unlike
like-
me.
Yeah.
I read it because our book club picked it up, and I had to read it.
Yeah.
Because I had to discuss it in an offline book club meetup.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, why? and it was a Korean books,
Yes.
sort of meetup.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'll give it a chance because I had no plans of picking it up because I knew like what I'm getting into. Okay, I tried it and I was in a super happy space at that point. And I had just gotten into super happy space because I had lost my mother.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I think it's back in 24 or something that event happened, that meetup happened. And I had lost my mother and I was recovered now.
Yes.
I was in I had recovered completely, not completely.
You never.
You never. So I had just gotten back to my prime, so as to say, and I was like, oh my gosh, not again. I can't do this to myself because we are not like millennials are not kind of
That
built
is,
that way.
yes.
We know how to most of the times we know how to deal with ourselves. We are pretty strong as Indians mentally. We have seen so much. We have always struggled for everything and all of that. Most of us at
Yeah.
least. So we know that how to get back to our prime after losing a lot.
Yeah.
So I was in that state and I picked up this book and I was like, oh my gosh, why am I reading this? But I can understand that, someone who needs it. Maybe
Yes.
when I was going through, my recovery
Yeah.
of getting back to, sort of sanity after losing someone, if I would have read it back then, it would have helped me
Yes.
a lot
Yeah.
to get in a very sort of closure sort of way.
Yeah, exactly.
Because otherwise, for I mean, it's not about me, this podcast, but it's when you go through this grief of losing someone, you want help. But in our society,
Right.
you can't go to anyone.
True.
If
Very
you
true.
go to anyone, they'll tell you, "Yeah, go have a burger, man, you'll feel better. Go have some alcohol.
Yeah.
You'll feel much better." Alcohol, I mean, guys, please don't suggest these things. Don't give these suggestions if you are not good at it. Alcohol is for guys, especially, they'll tell you have some alcohol, everything will be fine.
Yeah.
Smoke a couple of cigarettes and everything will be fine. All of those things don't work. You feel worse, So that's what, if I would have gotten this book back then, it would have helped me much better. And it would have helped me get more closure.
Exactly. I think it would have made you a bit teary, and then it
Absolutely.
would help let you release your grief.
Because I was having a hard time kind of, crying back
Yeah,
then. Because,
exactly.
when I saw a couple of deaths at home and I was like, I was so, guys, especially boys, especially are programmed to be tough. And I was like, in this tough zone, I'll recover, I'll do this, I'll do that. I have to be, I can't be vulnerable
Yeah.
in front of my
Yes.
family, my kids. So that, somebody could have, people, that's why people love this book. It helps people, get back,
back, true.
to their prime. Although the prime shifts, you can't get back to your emotional prime at least, but at least you can function better.
Yeah, I think you can also understand yourself better, what you're feeling and all. That is why I think these non-fiction books help in emotional maturity, which people should read more, especially the Indian men, because they have to be tough, they
Absolutely.
can't cry.
पढ़ लो यार. But I know you guys, you'll read it and then you'll talk about it on reels and something and say oh kya kitab hai kya book hai. But deep inside,
Yes.
you'll appreciate it because it is good. It reads like a journal, right?
Yeah.
It reads like a journal and it's quite intimate in that way. And when she passed away, the author, that was crazy for me. I was like, oh my gosh, this. I was wondering that this person has issues, a lot of issues, and how will she,
She
kind
get
of
through it,
recover?
yeah.
And it didn't happen, right? It didn't happen
Exactly.
for her. So it becomes more crazy.
Yeah,
These books.
yeah. And when I look back at it from this point of view, it's like she is trying to help others, but
Yep.
she couldn't help herself, and,
Yep.
and no one was there for her. Definitely,
Yep,
that's
yep.
why whatever
Absolutely.
happened.
And I mean, the books got popular, best selling,
Yeah.
etc., etc., but nobody could help. But at least she kind of, helped others.
Yes, she at least tried.
That's I think for that, kudos to what she has written, and I think it's a great beginning for books like these,
These,
you know,
yeah.
where people talk about mental health more.
True.
Yeah, men really need to kind of understand themselves better. Women को तो आता है काफी हद तक, but this book is for everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone, yeah.
What would be the kind of age for these books to pick up these books?
I would say.
I didn't read the age
Yeah.
limit, so I don't know.
I think because this is so deep,
Yeah.
only this one or all the books?
The first one,
Yeah. So.
no, yeah, Tteokbokki, yeah.
So I think once you understand that you're going through things around 15, because people are like
At
the
least,
teenagers are going through a lot of
Yes.
things which we don't even understand. So once they understand that they are feeling something but they don't know how to put it out, these books can help. The Tteokbokki book can help because firstly they understand therapy is important,
Yep.
especially in today's world.
Yep.
You are going through all of this, you are like on social media, you're getting bullied, not even you or someone else, you're just reading about others.
Bullying is there, so it's quite evident.
Even like, you know, if we just talk about like the K-pop members, they are getting bullied, and if you are a fan, you are getting affected by
Yep.
it. So things like that will help them understand that therapy is important and there are people like them. What they are going through is not only they are not cornered by it. They have other people, and if they need help, books is like a man's best friend.
Right.
If not that, therapy. If not that, go to
Yeah,
friends
man
or
and
anything.
woman's.
Yeah. So that is from 15, I would say 13 or something before that would be too early to understand.
At least in the Indian context.
Yeah.
It would be too early because we are a little bit, always a bit behind in most things. I don't know. See, we are not experts. Don't take it. But this is what we get from reading it. That thoda sa, you know, you have to be a
Yes.
little bit mature. Do your due diligence.
It's just
Consult
a
your parents
general,
also sometimes, you know. It's not because this recommendation, like on Amazon, like anybody can go and buy books, right? But what books you are buying, if you are under 18 at least, there should be some sort of, you know, criteria. Which books you can read or not read or whatever. So that's there. What else? Oh, yes. We have to talk about the final one, Strange Houses.
Yes.
And oh, what a book. Last year this was crazy. So the book, I don't have the physical copy right now because they are all sold out also, or we have not carried our copy. But I've been talking about it online and Instagram, etc. The book is crazy because there's this kind of sinister thing that's going on in a family. There's a tradition of murders that are happening, a tradition.
Tradition.
So that's the tipping point. That's how you buy the book.
Yeah.
Also because, you know, it has got, you know, house, you know, architectures, the layouts, where you get to see how they are the murders are happening.
Oh,
There is a sort of, there's a dead wall, you know.
Oh.
So why is a dead wall in there? I mean, I don't have a dead wall in our
Exactly.
home. And there are secret rooms, there are secret passages inside a room. So why are these houses getting built that way? And how are these murders happening? Why are these murders happening? So crazy book. And Uketsu, the author, I checked out his profile and he wears a mask or something. It's crazy.
Is that so?
He's just something else. I don't know. He's protecting his identity or
could be,
whatever.
yeah.
There are 3 books out now. Strange Pictures, I think that came out earlier. The first one, Strange Houses, and now Strange Buildings is also coming up. So very interesting. I loved it because of the crazy sort of narrative. There are layouts that you can see and try to understand how this murder is happening. It's almost very visual, very Netflix-like.
Yeah.
You know, you're reading, but you're also trying to figure out from the layouts what's happening. Then everything comes together at the end, which I can't reveal because of obvious reasons.
Yeah.
I can't. But do read it, and it's something else. The reading, the language is very simple, very
That's nice.
simple,
Yeah.
and that has to be the case in thrillers,
Thrillers,
in general.
yes.
But it is quite something. It is a genre-defying sort of book,
Oh, okay.
because generally, these layouts and everything, why would anyone put it in there? But this format is working for the author, and that's why everywhere it is sold out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't even buy a copy right now. It is supposed to go into reprint.
Print.
Kunzum people just told us that it is going into reprint, and then only you can buy it. I don't know if it's available on Amazon, although I would suggest not to buy it from Amazon because you get fake
Fake
copies.
copies, yes.
I recently ordered the Housemaid series. I had to watch the movie, and I thought I'll read the books first. I got fake copies, so I would recommend get it from an independent bookstore or Kunzum if you're in Delhi, from GK. And yeah, I think a great year for Japanese,
Yes,
Korean,
yes,
all
very true.
these comfort reads, and looking forward to much more in the genre. Now I think people will have to kind of differentiate themselves as authors, because otherwise there will be a sameness,
Same,
right?
yes, true.
Have you noticed that there's a sameness in creeping into some narratives while you're reading multiple books?
Yeah, like we have already seen books with are coming up with about the bookshops and libraries.
Yeah, yeah.
That is there.
Yeah.
Like if one book goes well about the bookshop, then there are multiple like this. And I
Now
have
there will be a line.
Yeah, exactly. I have a TBR of these Korean literatures.
I
So
also
they
have
are
it.
about
I also have it.
bookshelves and
Ah.
bookshop, book cafe, and all of that. So I'm
we
like,
have we have missed many.
yeah,
In fact,
exactly.
these names are also so confusing, but there are so many that we have missed. And if you guys have read some, do recommend in the comments, and we'll try to pick them up. But these books have kind of taken away a lot of our money last
Yes.
year, and I had some in my wish list as well. I haven't bought them because, yeah, how much can you kind of?
Exactly. Same
A
here.
couple of mentions which I haven't kind of indulged in yet. The Honjin Murders. It's a classic.
Yeah.
I picked it up from another bookstore, which I can't mention right now, but from Delhi itself. But yeah, so that was there. Yeah, that's a pretty good book. That was recommended by a friend. So yeah. Anything else that comes to mind? Otherwise, I think we are done.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Mahak.
Thank you so
and
much.
for doing this, your first podcast, Japanese and Korean books, translations, and how we can learn from them, perhaps
Yeah.
a little bit, to live life better. And thoda whimsical hai, but I guess at least both of us are very
please.
that kind of people. So I think we would love to do that even going forward. And a challenge for Indian publishers, Indian books, to kind of step it
Yes,
up, create our own genres. Although we are doing pretty well in translations, but we need to really pull up our socks because these books are selling like
Selling,
hotcakes now. How will you compete? So that's a challenge to all Indian writers, and to compete better. But yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you
And
so
yeah,
much.
that's it for this episode. You can follow us at Booknerds. This episode will be launched on Booknerds YouTube channel. And yeah, happy reading.